So the act that I have created is called the Prevention and Education of Cyberbullying Act. So cyberbullying varies from state to state. Um, Most states have laws that specifically criminalize electronic forms of harassment. However, there are states such as Maine, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Mexico, and Wyoming that do not. So not every state has provisions empowering schools to discipline students due to cyberbullying, and I believe that this is something that needs to change. Um, there are too many children that commit suicide each year due to cyberbullying. I feel like this is because they feel that they no longer have a safe space. Not only are they getting bullied at school, but then they come home and being at home is no longer safe either, whether it's because they're on their computer or their cell phone. It's just a constant bullying that is happening. Suicide is the third leading cause of death among young people, resulting in around 4,400 deaths per year. So this is definitely something that needs to change, and we need to have the same policies throughout the United States rather it being from state to state. So the policies of this act, as I mentioned earlier, will implicate the same policies throughout the United States. Um, so it's going to make sure that the laws in each state remain the same as far as the actions that the school takes disciplining the children, whether it's suspension or things like that. Of course, case to case will vary depending on the severity of the bullying, what is said, what is shown, things of that nature. And it will help educate the staff members of the school as well as the students and the parents um, to be aware of what is happening and to help them have a better understanding as well so that everyone can be on the same page. So I'm going to make sure that there are resources for the public, so for the parents, staff, and students. Um, I'm going to make sure that the parents, for one, and the staff know what to look out for, like what warning signs to look out for as far as cyberbullying, because not each student is going to tell someone what's going on, whether it be because they don't want to tattle, I guess, and possibly get bullied more, or because they just feel embarrassed and ashamed of what is happening, and maybe they feel like what these people are saying is true. So it's definitely important for the teachers and the staff to be aware, or the teachers and the parents to be aware of what's going on and to be able to help that student or their child if they are being bullied. And it will also provide resources at school for the students that are being bullied. So it'll be kind of like a group therapy where they could go and talk um, to other peers that have been bullied and how they handled it, what they're currently going through, just to kind of make that safe space for them while this is happening and while the school is figuring out everything to do in regards to the people that were bullying them. So, one thing also that I wanted to point out is that, as I mentioned, so it's different from state to state, but it also varies from school to school depending on what district you're living in. So, for example, there is a school in California that allows school, or there's a law in California that allows schools to suspend or expel offenders on a case by case basis. Whereas in Oklahoma, they have the option of using law enforcement to intervene. And so this allows cyberbullying to become a legal matter rather than a disciplinary issue at the school. And it also kind of creates that fear in other students. So, like, if they see the law enforcement coming in to deal with somebody who was bullying somebody else, they may decide to stay away from that because they will realize that it's not just, oh, I'm getting expelled for a day, it's that law enforcement is going to intervene. And so I definitely think that that is something that should be a possibility, because we want the suicide rate to go down and we want these kids to feel safe at school and at home and to enjoy their childhood and not feel like they have no place to go. So, in relation to the Patriot Act, um, this does not really relate to the Patriot Act, mostly because this act was created after 9/11, to enhance the power of our intelligence agencies and remove certain legal constraints on surveillance. Cyberbullying is not a hacking or a terrorist attack. Um, this is something that other peers are able to just post on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or text or any of the other multiple social media outlets out there. And so I just want to make sure that it is important to have a consistent level of um, a consistent law in each state for each school so that it's not different in one than it is from another, and so that the kids can really see that it does affect people, that it does create people to commit suicide and hurt them, or create them to move to a different school, to go to a different district because they no longer feel safe where they're at. And so I want that to change, and I want to ensure that each parent, student, teacher, and administrative staff member is educated in cyberbullying and has all the resources necessary to them to help the students and to help their children. Thank you.